Union workers at Essentia Health's downtown Duluth campus raised concerns regarding plans for certain positions. Dozens of USW Local 9460 employees at Essentia held an informational picket today regarding changes to the role of recreational therapists. Currently, these therapists provide mental health resources to a range of patients. According to leaders at Essentia, recreational therapists will transition into a role known as behavioral health technicians. Now, the union claims the title change will eliminate recreational therapist jobs. Hospital leaders say it won't.
We're asking them to be behavioral health techs, and that is a very different job than what they are trained to do. We have suggested many things. The main thing is grandfathering these recreational therapists in and adding the behavioral techs, some of their jobs to them, and, phasing them out instead of just cutting them out like this.
The union members have also filed charges with the National Labor Relations Board to protest Essentia's restructuring plans. And tonight, hospital leaders issued a statement saying the change will impact the equivalent of 5 full-time positions and doesn't involve layoffs or reductions in pay. Hospital leaders say they respect their colleagues' right to hold an informational picket.